Hi, baby.
Hi, Mama.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay, well, I'm doing good too. So, what we gonna talk about today? We decided that we're gonna tell a little piece of our story.
We did.
So, greetings. This is
Greetings.
my daughter Furahi, and we've decided that we want to talk to you about a few things. And so, she's been here for about a month,
Mm-hmm.
and
A
there's
long
been not lying. Okay, so
month.
there's all of the ins and outs and ups and downs about that month.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna start with
Feels like a year.
my baby came. Do I feel like five? My baby came here from Fort Myers, and so we can start from there. Okay. So what's it feel like you being back with your mama after 22 years?
It feels amazing. It's surreal in every part that you could possibly imagine. It's surreal. I I started to appreciate you as a memory, and I got used to that. And I never thought that I'd be sitting here with you.
It's good, baby. It's good. It's good. It's good. I there was expectations that I had of my baby. There was understanding that I had of what's it gonna be like having this cool little Fort Myers chick come up here. She is a lot stronger than I thought she would be. She's just as lovely as I knew she would be, and a lot cockier than I expected
She's
her to be. Gifted, strong, true, devoted. Now, we had talked on the phone about what she felt about me being the queen and being the goddess. She says, "Okay, now, Mama, what's all that about?" Because when she was going through all of these things while I was in prison and going through people saying different things and talking about me in a way that was just not flattering. Okay. She heard that I was this big time cult leader, that I manipulated people's minds, that I could brainwash, hypnotize, and all of these kinds of things. Now, she had very strong love for me, but the words of the people really, really beat against that. And she didn't lose the love, but she lost her faith in me. And believe it or not, it was the Fort Myers Hood boys that kept my respect alive. So much respect right back at you.
Thank you.
And thank you for telling my baby the truth in the most unexpected places. Okay. So, what was it like, baby, being in Fort Myers and being in that kind of life? And what made you choose the hood? Can you explain that?
Well, see, the thing is, when you take mixed race kids, biracial kids,
Uh-huh.
and you place them into white homes, and then instead, what this happens all the time, by
Mm-hmm.
the way, and I think there's a lot of problems with that.
Yes.
And when you strip their identity, it usually does one of two things. For
Mm-hmm.
me, it made me crave that.
Yep.
And that's not the route I needed to go, but it's the route that I went.
Yeah. I feel you.
And
I feel you.
but I've always been attracted to the hood. I just have.
Mm-hmm.
It's that plain and simple.
And she told me that she would like be in certain places and doing the kinds of things that she didn't have no business doing. And she'd ask them in the midst of it all, "So, do you know who my mom is?
So pictures and all.
Do you know who Queen Shahmia is?" And they, "Oh, yeah, we know who your mom is. Okay, we know exactly who your mom is." And she said something that disturbed me when she first admitted it. She'd say, she believes she's the queen because people had talked against that a lot, and broke her faith in me. And so the hood boys would say, maybe she is. You ever think about that? And I just thought that it was interesting that They were the ones who pointed her back to believing in me. So once again, much love for that, you know. So it's been a lot of different ups and downs and ins and outs, and changes in perspective for my baby. And she came into believing in me absolutely after having spent time with me because it's a very sharp mind, it's very perceptive, okay? And cocky with her opinions, acts like she knows everything. Wow. Okay. But she's really, really perceptive. Answers are very important to my baby. So she doesn't like any beating around the bush. She had questions for me and she wanted them answered very directly. And since I'm of the same mind of I do not do beating around the bush, you got something to say, ask it, be prepared because I'm going to answer it. And so she was absolutely amazed at how I don't do denial. You asked me about prison, and I'm going to tell you about it. You asked me about why I stood as I did, then I'm going to tell you about that. Whatever the question is, our communication was very, very good and strong. And because of that, we were able to form or polish our already unbreakable bond. And so that was really, really nice. And then came the head bumping. hmm Yeah. Oh, I ain't talking about what head bumping. Wow. I mean, good grief. But she stood strong in her faith in me. And no matter what we disagreed on, it was never that. So, what's it like to have your mama be the goddess and the queen? What's it like trying to balance that, baby?
It's confusing.
Okay.
On many levels.
Mhm.
It's a lot, but it's also amazing in the same breath, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
So, are you just believing that I'm your goddess and I'm your queen because you feel like that's what I expect of you?
No,
Well, that
no,
was fast, wasn't it?
no. If I fear and not fear, I believe that you have the power to turn Earth into a gumball. But
Mhm.
I believe in you absolutely. As Goddess Shahmia Almighty, I do, and that's never been a question. I've since I've been here. But I've not doubted that. I don't think I could possibly believe in you any more than I do right now.
Well, baby, what was it that brought you into such a firm belief? What is it that you saw? What is it that you experienced in me, not just as your mama, but as your goddess? What brought you to that?
You know, people who knew me before and even looking at me right this second, and it was the change that happened inside. It was your healing. It was experiencing it for myself. It's experiencing everything for myself, and I didn't have to be convinced. It's speaking your name in itself. There's I'm sorry.
That's all right, baby. That's all right. You express yourself however you're comfortable with
Yeah.
expressing yourself. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's all right because every experience is personal. It's not always something that you can put into words of when did you first believe and why. And it's not always so easy to articulate these things because it's so much of the heart.
I remember when.
Do you?
I do. I remember the
When
moment
was it?
that
I don't know.
it was it was before then. I always knew, but I kept it tucked away. But it was after I got away from everyone, and we
Okay.
were talking on the phone, and you told me to speak your name.
Mhm.
It was a little bit before then,
Okay.
and speak Goddess Shahmia Almighty. Sorry. And it was that moment. It was before then, but that it's like solidified it, and it got stronger and stronger and stronger by the minute, by the hour, by the day.
You remember when we were on the phone and you had spoke Goddess Shahmia, and then you had texted me and said, "Greetings, my goddess." I said, "Don't you dare." I said, "I'm mama." I said, please don't forget that. I said, there's time and place, but that mama. And my top favorite things in life is when my baby calls me mama. There's just nothing that compares to that. So we talked about all of that because, and in a sense, she didn't feel like she could keep me as her goddess and mama. And I was saying, honey, I'm both. One doesn't replace the other. Just because you're honoring me as your queen doesn't do away with the fact that I'm mama. I carried you in my womb. I had a home birth, and I don't care what you say, but yeah, she gets embarrassed. Okay. Natural birth, breastfed. She's like, that's right. This again. She gets so embarrassed and sedity about this being said in front of people. Child, please. Carried you for 9 months and loved you every second of it. I was crazy about you before I ever saw your face. Crazy about you, baby.
I love you, Mama.
So we've had a lot of, we've had our ups, we've had our downs, we've had our talks, we've had our love. I've asked her about her beliefs. What does she think? What does she feel? What religion did she prefer? Because it's important to listen to your child, whether they're children, whether they're adults. You don't do all the talking, you have to listen, hear them. They have things to speak to, they have contributions to make. They might not agree with everything you have to say, and sometimes they might have a better idea than you. Okay? It had Child, it's only happened a few times. Yeah, sometimes she makes me stop and say, "Wow," because she's just really something magnificent. No, we're not gonna talk about that too much, precious. Okay. This is my baby girl, and she did not want to do this video.
No, I didn't.
Oh, she doesn't like talking in front of people with her pretty self. She doesn't. Hmm. But we talked it out and worked it out, and I said, "There's only one thing to do with fear, and that's to overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. There ain't nothing else to do with it."
Okay.
Okay. Oh, she wrote me a poem.
I did.
And she wants to read her poem. Okay.
Yes.
You want me to hold this while you read?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's untitled at the moment.
Okay.
How on earth in my flesh, next to Goddess of Love, could I possibly still be drowning in my sorrows, phobias, and anxiety because of one inconvenience? So what does this mean, and who is this goddess you speak of anyways? With a heart so diabetically sweet, to the bruised, battered, lost souls, but to her, Mama Goddess, you were never lost. While you're drowning in yesterday's sorrows and mishaps, listen closely as Goddess Shahmia Almighty sings the glorious and magnificent reconciliations to the depths of our souls.
That's so beautiful, baby.
Thank you.
That's so beautiful, and thank you. Now, see, now that wasn't so bad, right? And so, baby, if you've got one message to leave with the people, what message would that be?
Message is that she is here in flesh, just as her beloved, my king, walked this earth so long ago. Don't make the same mistakes that our ancestors and forefathers did. She is here in flesh, daughter of God, bride of Christ.
Hmm. I want to say that for me, coming out of prison after all of this time, because it was destined that I go to prison. I had a sacrifice to make, and all of my children and Philip sacrificed as well. And I want to speak to those who are still in prison. I want to speak to those who are believing something that nobody wants to hear. Ones that think you're crazy for standing firm in what you believe. Baby, you keep your head up. Don't you give up. Don't you let anybody rob you of what you know to be true. And if the Lord has given you a special message or a special something to do that He's called you to, it's not for anybody else to judge it, accept it, or believe it. Because if He gave the message to you, it's yours. There's a young man out there. His name is Lawrence Joseph Ansaroff. And he stood for me as his queen and his goddess in a time when nobody else stood as he stood. He did 7 years in a mental institution because he would not deny my name. He's still believing in me to this day. He's labeled as crazy. His family did not stood by him. They turned against him just like everybody else. Lawrence, I want to say to you, I'm proud. Thank you so much for everything you lost, everything you suffered, and for the man that you are. You're more of a man than any man I've ever known in my life, any lifetime I've lived. I love you, and I will see you soon. So we speak to those who have children who are in prison. I like to speak to the mothers who are doing time and their children are on the outside, and you're scared and you're worrying. You keep your faith, you keep your belief, you be part of their life in any way you can, including spiritually, because sometimes that's the only way you can reach out and know that there is a brighter day. And for those of you who are doing life in prison and you will not see the outside, live your life, do everything that you can, and appreciate what you have. And stop comparing what you have to what you used to have. Because life loves the liver of it. Your life is still worth living, still a beautiful thing, and there's still many things to be grateful for. I understand. For the children who are being harmed and being abused, and you're scared and you think nobody's going to listen, there's always somebody. Find your voice, baby, because you have a right to life. You have a right. There's always somebody to help. For the adults doing the abusing, don't live out your pain. Don't live out the pain of your childhood. Make a change. Do the right thing. Because the same things you've suffered, now you're the cause of that suffering. Stop and think. There's a better way. I love each and every one of you. Just each and every one. I'm so proud to have my baby right here. I'm so proud. I am so proud. This is a reunion. I did a life sentence and now I'm back. It's not easy for my baby, but everything she suffered, I'm loving it away. And she suffered.
I suffered for you.
Oh, but this is live your life. Live your life. Live your life. Live your life. Don't wait to live it. Start living it now. If you have any questions for me, text me, contact me through Messenger and Facebook. whatever questions that you might have. And it's been a pleasure for us to be before you today, baby. You did good. I promise you did good now.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.